Hello, everyone, and welcome to Training Industry's product demo, Meet Tia, your AI agent for solving L&D problems and challenges. I'm Amanda Longo, Creative Director here at Training Industry, and I'm very excited that you could join us for today's program. Of course, in this webinar, you have the opportunity to chat with your fellow attendees. Pop open that chat bar at any time, chat with myself, other attendees, or our speaker. Of course, if you have questions during the event, please pop open the Q&A tab. You'll notice that's a little different than the chat question tab. Pop open that Q&A tab, post your questions in there, and I'll be able to keep them organized for the end of our session. Of course, we always love to see your perspective of the session highlights on social media. So please follow Training Industry Inc. and hashtag TI webinars so we can track your contribution to the conversation. When our webinar ends, you'll receive a short evaluation survey. And of course, we always welcome your feedback on today's content or content you'd like to see us cover here in the future. So be sure to complete that event so we know exactly what you'd like to see. As always, today's event will be recorded and archived on trainingindustry.com, and you will receive a follow-up email from us that will include a link to the recording as well as a ton of resources we have packed into today's event so that you can share all of that good stuff with your team. If you've attended one of our programs in the past, a very big special welcome goes out to you. Thanks for coming back again. If this is your first webinar with us, I'm so glad that you are here to meet Tia today. At Training Industry, we offer dozens of events each year on subjects ranging from analytics to onboarding, upskilling, reskilling, compliance, and yes, AI. We cover just about every topic relevant to leaders of training organizations around the globe. To get us started, I want to introduce you to my friend, Jenessa. She is an executive learning and development strategist, author, and keynote speaker with extensive success in redesigning organizational learning and development experiences with AI across industries. And she is a certified professional in training management, which means she knows her stuff. So we are so pleased to welcome Jenessa Jacobs to our session today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Amanda. I'm very excited to be with you here today. Hello, everyone.
All right, we are going to pop into meeting Tia, your training industry agent, right away. First, a little chat from me. Normally, I am but a humble producer on these live events, but today I get to take a little bit of a different role as I was the person responsible for building Tia for Training Industry. So I am the technology transformation, we'll say little less than expert. It feels expert feels like a heavy role and title to place on myself, but I'll be here to talk to you through how we made this happen. Jenessa?
Hey, everyone. So I am Jenessa Jacobs, and I'm an executive learning and development strategist. I really specialize in AI-driven training solutions, and throughout my career, I've helped organizations integrate AI into enhancing learning experiences. So that means making training more personalized, more efficient, and most of all, saving your work-life balance. So I'm very excited to be presenting today with Amanda, and I have been in and out utilizing Tia along with other AIs and excited for you guys to see her capabilities.
Perfect. So we will jump into today's content. Here's a little quick look at the agenda. Of course, we'll talk a little bit about how AI is being used in L&D, our process for building her, how we use or how Jenessa uses Tia and consults with her. And then we'll jump right in and chat with Tia and you'll be able to meet her today. So let's jump into it. Here we go. All right. We are going to have Jenessa kind of talk us through the use of AI in L&D. But before we do that, I want to give you a poll to kind of figure out how you're feeling about AI and if you're using it or not. So let's jump into this poll. Of course, you've got a couple of answers here. Just select the one that is most relevant to you. The outliers are always the ones I'm very curious about. Who's an enthusiast and who's afraid? Um, if you're afraid, we have got you. We will take you on this journey today. You will not be afraid. If that's where you are when we start, you will not be there when we are done, I hope. I see we've got about 70% of our audience has participated in our poll, so I'll give you a few more moments. Remember, you just want to select one. And if you haven't yet, pop in the chat and let us know what your role is right now in L&D. Of course, the way we use AI is very relative to the job we're doing. So Jenessa and I want to really make sure that we tailor today's content to your needs. Let's take a look at what they said here.
All right. Look at this. Got a couple enthusiasts here, a few explorers. It looks like the majority of you guys are explorers, meaning that you're experimenting with the different generative AI tools, but haven't necessarily integrated it yet. A couple are learning. That's our next biggest one here at 30%, exploring both the general AI tools and specific agents. That's good. Skeptical and a couple afraid. That's okay. That's all right.
You're here now. It won't be like that at the end. Don't worry. All right, so let's jump into it, Jenessa.
All right, so I want to talk to you a little bit about the current applications of AI in learning and development. AI is transforming the way we approach learning and development, and it's being used in a variety of ways. Everything from content development and personalization to coaching and data analytics. In fact, in my book coming out this spring, I dive deeper into a lot of these different AI technologies and how they can be leveraged within instructional design frameworks like ADDIE, SAM, and Agile to create more effective training programs. And these models, all of these AI models that are out there, have always been about iteration and adaptability. And AI really enhances that by making content development faster, learning insights more actionable, and updates more seamless. So L&D professionals specifically are utilizing AI tools like ChatGPT to brainstorm training content, draft course outlines, and even generate assessment questions. We've got different tools. If you want to go on to the next slide there, we'll go through some of these here. Things like Grammarly, which helps to refine communication. I believe, Amanda, you're utilizing Grammarly as we speak.
I am writing a thesis, and Grammarly allows me to say I'm writing a paper in APA style and it must be formal, and I'm able to transform my typical creative writing style into something that's more technical, and it's a miracle worker as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely. It helps to refine communication. And for training, it helps to ensure that training materials are clear, professional, and engaging. Meanwhile, Microsoft Copilot, which you may be familiar with, has changed the game by integrating AI directly into workplace tools. This is making it easier than ever to automate a lot of the administrative tasks, the things that you do every single day, as well as then on the back side of things, analyzing learning data and streamlining content creation too. But here's the key difference. Most of these AI tools pull from what's called open sources across the internet. So if I was an L&D professional looking to get some answers, the equivalency going to these tools would be like asking a random stranger for advice on L&D strategies and really, really, really hoping that they've had some L&D professional knowledge put into them. Wouldn't you rather ask a trusted expert? And that's really where TIA comes in. Unlike general AI, TIA pulls from a carefully curated knowledge base, ensuring the guidance you receive is credible, relevant, tailored to the L&D field, and current.
So we're kind of wondering, what AI are you using right now? For those of you who are not in the afraid or skeptical groups, which platforms are you using on a day-to-day in the flow of work to help you with your learning challenges? Type it in chat. We'd be interested to see what you've got going on. Yes, ChatGPT. Copilot, definitely integrated for any of us in the Microsoft Office world.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you saying a lot of Copilot, Gemini, Copilot, yes, there we go. Chris, I see you. Yeah, very, very similar. Very similar in how they work and how they are utilized. Same with the Chat GPT and Grammarly.
And it makes sense, right? These are the AI that we're seeing in the news because they are based on the open sources, like Jenessa was talking about, and readily available to anybody on any topic at any time. But as you may have heard from training industry before, that we've mentioned before, that and what Jenessa was kind of alluding to a moment ago is we really believe that the future is agents specific to a knowledge pool, so that I'm not going to ask Chat GPT, which has at its fingertips, billions upon billions of content pages across the web for my specific, need on what to make for dinner tonight. I'm going to go to, I want to go to the Food Network's AI for that. So in that light, we decided that we, as leaders in knowledge for the business of learning, or running and managing the business of learning at training and industry, we believed that we needed to take this upon ourselves to make an agent specifically to serve learning leaders. With all the content, you as a learning leader could show up on our website looking for some sort of compliance information, or looking for information on how to deliver a sales training. There's so much content. It would be difficult for you to find a really personalized and thoughtful answer on how to move forward. You could certainly consume several articles, a couple of webinars, maybe a podcast, and get the information you need over time. But with AI, time is a little less encumbersome, as we can just ask the AI, where are the best things in this entire database to help me with the answer I need for my specific problem today. So we had in our vision an AI that specifically knew the ins and outs of running the business of learning and development. So we carefully curated her content. We looked through almost 2 decades of content that we've collected from more than 500 contributors globally. And we picked the best of the best, the things that we know users are responding to and reading and commenting on. And we filled her up with all of this information on learning and development. And then we helped design her voice to be in light of the training industry brand, or in the architects and the learning analysts that are here at our organization. So how could she deliver these messages as if you were talking directly to someone in our research department, or someone on our editorial or courses development department? And we made sure she had the right information at the right time. And then, of course, as you know, learning is living and leading. So we made sure that she had a process by which to continually ingest new content that's being creative, so that she can keep up with the latest trends, the latest technology advancements that are serving the L&D community. And then we made her beautiful. She looks a lot like the AI you've probably already been using. She has the capacity to keep all of your threads organized so that you can come back to them at a later date. She auto titles those, so you don't have to worry about managing that part of the admin yourself. Of course, this little slash button down here is her prompts. So we're able to, let's say training industry just launched a comprehensive state of the industry market report, which we did. We are going to immediately put that into Tia, and then we can build a prompt around that. So if you're not sure when you get in to talk to her and you want to know what's the latest taps, Tia, you would click right on her slash bar here, and a prompt would come up that says, would you like to learn about the state of the industry right now? And all you'd have to do is say yes, and she would start giving you the highlights of that report. So in an instant, you have access to the latest content that our thought leaders are developing. Likewise, we have the ability to create capabilities. The first one that we created was for first-time training managers, knowing that a lot of times a first-time learning leader is coming in to a department that wasn't a department just moments ago and needs to upskill on what that looks like. So the first capability we built was one that if you type in her search bar and say, I'm a first-time learning leader, first-time training manager, immediately she is triggered to start asking you another set of questions to learn more specifically about your organization, your goals, the organization's goals, and then she's able to craft a 20 or 30-day learning program for you based on the content and resources that she has in her bank. So she's like at the ready to give you things like that. So we've built those into her. And of course, at Training Industry, we are all about making connections. So it was really important for us to not just build an AI agent, but to build the AI agent in collaboration with a community forum so that you can go in to ask Tia for information and then flip right over to the community forum and vet her answers or find more specific do's and don'ts, tips and tricks from real human learning leaders like Jenessa, who is a member of our community forum. And so I will, with that, turn it back over to you to let you know how she is using Tia in her day-to-day.
Absolutely. Amanda, before we go a little bit further, there are a couple of questions in chat. Would you like to hold those till the end?
Let's do it. If they're in chat, let's go for it.
Perfect.
Let's see here.
So Kelly asked, how does Tia ingest member contributions and presenter contributions, i.e. community collaborations, webinars, and recordings?
So the way that happens is she has integrations specifically to, we use Wistia to house our recordings for our webinars, our now virtual podcasts. And so she has an automatic ingestion that just sets to happen. It's once a week for our website and once a month for all of our recordings. And so almost instantly, the information is uploaded into her knowledge banks. And then, of course, we do have an administrator, a kind of a TIA caretaker, who pops in and makes sure that for every podcast, every webinar, we have the speakers specifically identified so that you can start hearing from common voices over and over that are leading the charge in learning and development.
And just a follow-up question on that, I'm going to skip down to one from Steve here. Can you add documents or other information directly into Tia's knowledge bank, similarly to the way Copilot can access internal resources?
At this point, that is not part of her configuration, but it is something on the near horizon, which we are very excited to launch.
And then the other question here is from Mark asking for examples of data that we would find in Tia. So I'm going to jump right into that. That's all right. This is one of my favorite things. So now that we've explored how Tia is being used in learning and development, and we've talked a little bit about Tia's capabilities, let's talk about how you can use Tia to get trusted, actionable insights specific to your training needs. Unlike open source AI, which pulls from the entire internet, Tia sources its responses from curated, expert-reviewed current content, ensuring that you've got a lot of accuracy and a lot of relevance. So your prompt playbook is really your key to unlocking Tia's full potential. Amanda, do you want to talk just a quick moment on the prompt playbook?
Yes,
Are we going to drop that?
Yes, I'm dropping this right in the chat right now. I got sidetracked with the second part of my answer to Steve, which was to say that you can, in fact, take copy from documents and post it into Tia's search area and ask her for feedback relevant to the content that she already has access to. So while you can't upload the document, you could upload some information from the document. I am uploading that Tia prompt playbook right now.
Perfect. There in your chat is Tia's prompt playbook. So by using the right prompts, you can align AI insights with the 3 golden rules of L&D. All of my CPTMs with me on the call today, you all know what they are. They're reducing cost, increasing revenue, and mitigating risk. So how are we utilizing Tia to do so? Well, if we are looking for ways in which the training organization needs to reduce cost, we can ask, hey, how can I streamline training delivery? Or what cost-effective methods improve scalability of our current processes? If you're looking to increase revenue, you can use how do I align training with business goals, or what leadership skills help to drive growth? Similarly, under the mitigating risk section, try how do I assess skills gaps, or what best practices help to ensure compliance through training processes. Really, Tia is going to help you to make data-driven decisions and maximize the training impact. So next, based on some of these prompts and some of these areas, I'm going to show you how to enter these prompts and refine your strategy in real time. So to demonstrate, this is a part directly from Tia's prompt playbook there. And you might ask, hey, what are the latest learning technologies that can benefit our organization, particularly for, and then enter a specific training format or a need that your organization may have. Maybe that's a new LMS. Maybe you are looking to integrate AI processes. And these are the types of strategic questions that L&D professionals need to answer when evaluating and implementing different learning solutions. So I am going to share screen here. We are going to meet Tia, and I'm going to show you in real time some of the capabilities here. Let me know when you can see my screen here. Looks good?
Yes, we are on.
Okay. So welcome to Tia, everyone. She is one of my favorite agents here. All right. So I already have my prompt ready to go, but when you access Tia, you'll get a message here saying, hello there, I'm Tia, the training industry super support agent, and I'm here to provide you with insightful guidance on learning and development and assist you in solving problems and recommend resources related to training industry content. So my prompt that I'm going to be utilizing today are what are the latest AI-based learning technologies that can benefit our organization, particularly for our training processes. As you develop prompts, this is really what's going to give you the best responses is based on the best prompts. So if I wanted to say maybe the specific type of organization that I was in or narrow that down, I would get more specific within my prompt in order to find more specific information. But we're going to send this generalized prompt over. I say generalized, and it's still pretty decently specific to, AI technology. And Tia is going to think for a minute and then give us these lovely responses here. So this is what she is saying on transforming training processes by introducing innovative technologies and different AIs, everything from AI optimization and training logistics. So she gives you a little bit of a header and then the information next to it, which you'll see is very familiar to the other AIs that you may be already utilizing. One of the things I really love about this is she's going to cite her sources. Also down here at the bottom, you have the sources tab, which you can click on, and that will give you the sources that are cited there. More so, one of my favorite buttons here is the topics button. I click that one often because if I wanted to dive in deeper to maybe, let's say I didn't have a lot of information behind number 2 here, personalized learning for learners with disabilities and some of the AI technologies that are available for them, I could then click on these topics, and Tia has helped me to generate my next prompt in order to dive deeper into my understanding of that. So I can say, hey, look, here's a topic on AI in assistive technology, something I may not have thought about for my, Section 508 compliance as I'm creating some of my training programs. So as she thinks through some of that prompt and is coming through and finding those resources for me, I'm going to get a whole nother set of learnings, is what I'm going to call them, talking about, what is available, how it's being utilized, and then where these sources are coming from. Again, I can also then ask clarifying questions, or I can take this information and I can copy it and take it straight over to my community, my connections, or some of my discussions and say, hey, has anyone utilized this before? Or what are your thoughts on this? Or did this work for your specific industry? Because maybe I'm in the same industry. So this is one of the reasons that I love utilizing TIA when I need actionable real-time L&D insights. As you can see, TIA isn't just another AI chatbot. It's a trusted learning companion designed specifically for L&D professionals. So whether you're exploring new technologies, whether you're looking to integrate AI into your training programs, whether you just need an answer on, hey, what is everyone doing for onboarding nowadays? Even optimizing your LMS processes, TIA provides expert-backed insights that you can rely on. So with that, I'm going to send it back over to Amanda.
Perfect. I'm going to take us back to our deck. We have reached the end of our demo because demos are short and sweet and get you back to your job with the information you need. Of course, we're still going to be opening it up for Q&A, so please post your questions, pop open the Q&A chat, post your questions in there, and we'll get to them in just a moment. But did want to answer, I think I saw in the chat, Sabrina maybe said, how can I get TIA? Where's she available? Well, at the end of this, you have a bit.ly right there, but also at the end of this event, you will receive a follow-up email that will include a recording of today's session, as well as several resources. Of course, we already put TIA's prompt playbook in the chat, but you have the opportunity to meet TIA, hang out with her, and give her a try for 24 hours. It's absolutely free. You don't even have to put in a credit card to do it. You can get in there and ask her today. Ask her for something you need support on today. We'd love to hear your feedback about your experience. You won't be able to get into the community with the free TIA trial, but hopefully you'll find that she's your new best friend and you'll sign up, and then the community will just provide you with a lot more best friends who are human. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and actually stop our sharing for a moment so that we can get to Q&A and it just be a little bit more of a personal experience here. If you do have questions, post them in the Q&A. I have this one that came in from Sean who says, I want our internal AI agent to be able to crawl through our own carefully curated internal resources. Our big challenge is tapping into e-learning courses that are locked in our workforce LMS and video content in our workforce video repository. Our AI agent can't read those, so our workaround will be to create text-based file copies of content in the courses, of the courses and video. Very time sensitive. Yes, it is, Sean. Did you have the same challenges? And if so, how did you address them? We did have some of those challenges. Since we are not a learning company per se, and our content is not in an LMS, our experience was a little different, but we do have a website that has tons of gated content, like these free webinars. You had to give us your email in order to register, and you would have to give us an email if you wanted to watch the on-demand programming. So while we configured TIA through an automated ingestion option, we also have access to physically add content to her knowledge banks within the app itself. We did think that for a while we were going to have to create transcripts of videos, but we were able to work in her configuration to add videos directly to her. And one of the things that we didn't go into detail with, Jenessa pointed at the sources that TIA provides at the end of an answer. And a lot of times you click into that source and you will go directly to the video. That is because the video is inside the app, not inside the LMS or the player, like we use Wistia, that you originally posted it in. As it's ingested, it is now in her database. And when you click on sources, you're able to go right to the video, right to the section of content that she is citing as important to your question.
I'm going to follow up just on the back end of this. This is a little on the second side of this question here, Sean, for you. If this is third-party content that you are utilizing and you want to be able to better search and crawl and index that, you can always reach out to those third parties and ask them to provide you with what's called audit documentation, which means they should already have those text files and transcripts available for any kind of ADA or Section 508 compliance reasons. So if you're able to get that audit documentation on those, usually those can be utilized for these types of purposes.
All right, let's jump over to the number one question we get on all AI activities, events, chats, everywhere. The question is, can you talk a little bit about security and proprietary information? Jenessa, I'll let you talk about this first, and then I will jump in.
We knew it was coming, right?
Yeah.
So security is huge with AI, right? And a lot of that is because open source models within AI are ingesting everything, absolutely everything. So, it's if you wouldn't tell your best friend, don't tell the AI. Even if you would tell your best friend, maybe don't tell the AI and look at your NDA and see what you can and can't put in there. However, open source AI is very different from an agent-based AI. And Amanda will explain a little bit about the differences, but this is built within a secured member community. So you might be safer putting it in the AI than even within the members. So Amanda, I'll let you kind of follow up on the creation of the security around TIA.
So we did only provide inside TIA's knowledge bank information from our own experience and our own catalog. Now, that doesn't mean it's only from training industries, employees, and contributors. It's from contributors that have been serving us for decades. And it was really important for us that TIA didn't just live on our site where anyone without direction could access her or interact with her. Instead, we do have her inside our membership, which is gated and secure and protected. And part of the reason of doing that is because we know that if anyone's dealing with proprietary information, it is learning and development. And so we want to make sure that not only do you feel protected with the information that you may be sharing with TIA, but that TIA is providing you with accurate, trusted sources so that you're not going on some weird journey because ChatGPT pulled something from some blog from some person that was written in 1996 when the web first started. And so it was really important for us to make sure that you had the right answers at your fingertips through TIA. So she is upskilled with all of that content that has been vetted over and over. I will say, we don't just post content and leave it. We post content and we go back to it and we make sure that it stands the test of time. And so TIA is able to provide you with answers that are current and relevant to the problems that you are having today. All right. Lots of good chat here. Let me get to another question. Okay. Love this question. What if TIA tells me that she doesn't have an answer? Oh, that sounds like that would be kind of frustrating. I can understand. We have actually designed TIA, and this goes back a little bit to the security around her. We have designed her so that you are getting an answer that is real and relevant. And if TIA doesn't have a real and relevant answer, TIA will not provide you with a fake, hypothesized answer based on your question. That can be a little frustrating at times. I have this question, TIA's going to help me solve it. And then TIA says, I don't have enough information, or that type of answer is not available in my bank. Sometimes It is merely an issue with the prompting itself. For example, if you were to enter into TIA, could you act as an employee writing a letter to stakeholders regarding yada, 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 whatever? First of all, Tia does not know how to act like anything but Tia. So already she's very confused by your question. Likewise, there aren't a lot of how to write a letter pieces of content within our database. So this too could be a little bit of a challenge because you've given her two complex things. Now, if you said, I need to write a letter to stakeholders about the importance of this learning initiative because it relates to organizational objectives, provide me with, some sort of copy that I can include, that she would very much be able to do. So if you do get to a place with any AI where they tell you that they don't have an answer, now most open source AI will always provide you an answer. Who knows what it'll be, but they will provide you with an answer. If you get to that point, take a step back and think about how you asked the question and reframe it. Try it a couple different times. Typically, the AI will get on board and be able to figure out from keywords what it is you actually are trying to get from it. All right, let's keep going. Kind of on the same track here. How do I know Tia is providing a good answer? Jenessa, I'll let you take this one. How do you know she's given you a good answer?
Absolutely. So AI in general is created by humans for humans, right? So while we have it in our brains that this wonderful, beautiful machine, is all knowing, all powerful, can do absolutely anything, it is still only as good as the humans inputting the information there and the knowledge base that the humans already have. So you can trust Tia because it's already from the curated content knowledge base there. So that's a big plus versus open source AI, which you're not really sure where it's pulling from, and also contains a lot of what we call AI hallucinations, but that's another rabbit hole. But if you're ever unsure about an answer that you receive, you can take that answer over to the member community and you can ask another learning and development professional. So for example, if you're saying, hey, we need to switch LMSs because, I think everyone does that once every 5 years, right? We need to switch LMSs and we've got these different LMSs out here. How do I know that I'm getting the best one when it comes to the quizzing ability of XYZ? And maybe you get an answer that you're not really sure of or something you've never been exposed to before. You can take that answer over to the member community and say, hey, is everyone else seeing this? Or is this something that's new? Can someone walk me through how they're using this? Or does it have enough security if you're in a highly regulated industry? Mm-hmm. And you'll get great answers from the member community and put those back into the AI, to then clarify, ask questions and dive in a little bit deeper for your organization and your specific needs.
Yeah. Lots of questions, lots of things to talk about here. I'm going to pop into this one. Can I share Tia with my team, or do we all need an individual membership? So Tia is for you. When you log in, you get your membership. It is so that you have your identity inside of the community forum and your specific relationship with Tia. We are going to be launching soon corporate memberships, and so you will be able to have multiple people joining and collaborating, not only in the community, but using Tia in the flow of work. And even a little further on the horizon is the potential and our ability to add Tia to Teams or to Slack channels, which keeps you in your environment and allows you to collaborate with Tia with your team so that each time you're asking something, everyone is aligned on the answer or the potential answer and then can collaborate back and forth on next steps. I want to get back to this question from Elisa. Does Tia list resources where she obtains the answers from? Yes, yes, and yes. When she provides her resources, It could be any number of places that you might end up at. For example, because of her auto ingestion of our website content, if she is listing to you articles in her sources, it will take you out to the training industry website where that article is listed. If Tia is referencing video or podcast, those are because they sit behind a gate on our main website. Those are uploaded, auto ingested into Tia's knowledge banks. And so when you click on it, it will take you right to a player inside Tia. You're inside the platform. And yes, somebody asked for me to confirm. It takes you directly to the timestamp of the answer to the question you've asked. Yes, yes, and yes. If the answer you were looking for is at the 23rd minute and 52 seconds, then that is exactly where you will pop into the video to hear. So she is ready and willing to give you validated content and answers, and you will know exactly where it's coming from.
Amanda, are you okay if I share my screen real quick and just show?
Do
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. All right. This is one of my favorite capabilities that Tia has here. So what I've done is this was the first prompt that I had put in here, and I've clicked on this sources button. One of the things I really love about this is right next to it, I'm going to see exactly what type of content from these sources that I'm getting. So I've got AI enhancements for learners with disabilities. And this is found in the training industry webinar, Where's Your L&D Team on AI Adoption Curve with Sarah. I've got other links here too, such as, AI revolutionizing training programs for workforce development. So maybe this is more along the lines of what I'm looking for. As I click on that, that will load directly to the article here, and I can go through and read and grab what content I need from it directly here.
Yeah, I love that. And as you were sharing, Jenessa, I was reminded that it's a new feature that Tia site has next to the sources and topics, there's a speakers button. And so you'll be able to see specific thought leaders relative to the content. And then you might be able to pop over to the community, locate those people, and ask them directly if you have a specific question. So really aligned to our company goal of making connections in L&D. I've got maybe one question last here. Robert wanted to know if we can perform this service to help you replicate this agent inside your company with your content. While that is a negative, Robert, so sorry about that, I will make sure that in our follow-up email, we will include a link to an event we did here in October where we had a webinar and presented the building of Tia alongside our AI partner, Mindset AI. And we talked more about how we partnered with Mindset to have them help us in the building of Tia. So we'll make sure we include that resource in your follow-up content. All right, so one more time, I know that my lovely colleague Elizabeth posted in the chat the bit.ly, but I want to share this for you one more time. So we will include information about TriTia. We'll have the link to this event. We'll have a link to the last event, which is more about how we built her and how we partnered with our learning services provider. And then we will also include the Tia's prompt playbook in case you didn't grab that out of the chat. And another job aid we will include is AI use cases. So kind of going back to the very beginning when Jenessa was taking us through how L&D is using AI. So we will make sure that your email is packed with all of this stuff. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always contact us. We love talking about learning and development and of course about AI. So with that, I will say a very big thank you to Jenessa for joining us today and imparting all of her learning leader expertise in AI.
Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about this. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Love
And
that.
in the member community.
And in the member community. You can find us both there. If you'd like to join us for some upcoming events, of course, trainingindustry.com/webinars has all the information that you need. All of our events do pre-qualify you for 1 credit hour from ISPI, SHRM, HRCI, and CPTM. You heard me mention CPTM earlier. Jenessa has this accreditation. It is the Certified Professional in Training Management program. If you're looking to up your personal and professional game, linking your learning initiatives to your organizational goals, this is the program for you. You want a seat at the table? This is the program. You can take it from anywhere in the world. It's a very in-depth and thorough account of the role of the learning leader leading the business of learning. So you can check out more information on our website about that. Of course, we would love to interact with you in person. You can try TIA in person in June in Raleigh, North Carolina at our Training Industry Conference and Expo. It is an annual event that brings together lots of learning and development, dare I say nerds like Jenessa and I, so that we can kibitz and really dig into not only the challenges we're facing, but the solutions that are being used by other people just like us across the learning and development sphere. So hopefully you're able to join us in June for the TICE conference. One last time, Jenessa, we love having you here and sharing all of your knowledge of being a learning leader and an expert learning leader, as I might add.
Thank
Thanks, of
you.
course, to Training Industry Membership for sponsoring today's event and letting us gush over the building of TIA and her introduction into the market. And of course, thanks to all of you for attending. Loved having you here. It was a great chat, great Q&A. We will keep those chats and Q&A open. We'll probably be making some sort of article follow-up information. We will make sure you get that in your email, so do not worry about that. Until we see you back here next time, enjoy it out there and spread that L&D magic wherever you go, because we know that it is essential for successful organizations in the modern world. So thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.